Hi guys, real quick. I'm sorry, y'all almost caught me chewing. I just took a bite of my honey bun. Listen, I'm going to come to you guys to explain this contest that I have going on. I've had a couple of my interested parties stating that they think the contest is a great thing, but they're not so sure if their spouses are going to participate. That's not necessary. Your spouses is not necessary. I said you can add them in the video if you like. Just be creative. Um, You can even use puppets and pretend that you're him and you're him and I'm sorry that one of the puppets is him and one of the puppets are you, and maybe describe how you met, or maybe you can do a portrait piece, submitting talking about how you guys met and what makes it so special. For instance, I'm not married anymore. I used to be married, and I can tell you one thing that I think that hurt us is that we didn't keep God in our relationship. I can say that's one of the things I think came between us. Um, I believe my ex-husband had some issues from his past that he could let go of. Honestly, I think he was bipolar. Just to be honest with you, I think he was truly bipolar, but it was not clinically diagnosed. But I truly now, reflecting back, I believe the reason why we have so many issues is because he was truly bipolar. I didn't know from 1 hour to then he would have like extreme mood swings or whatever. And I got to the point where I just ignore him. And I think he was kind of jealous of my kids from a previous relationship. So there's a couple of things that relationship that was negative about that relationship. And I believe if we were more into Christ and really had God to God our marriage or whatever, we probably would still be married, because he was a good guy overall. I mean, he was a good provider, and he was a good disciplinarian. I mean, he was a good guy overall. But and like I said, the good outweighed the bad, but the bad was so tiresome, And I got tired. I'm not one that's going to argue. He liked to argue, and I wasn't gonna. I'm not gonna argue with you. It's okay to have disagreements, but to have the same conversation about the same thing we just discussed 2 days ago, I'm not going to. I refuse to entertain that. I ignored him, and he hated that or whatever, and he would just push my buttons until I just click and go off on him. And life is too short to have to live like that. Okay, so I haven't had a relationship. I had one relationship after my husband and I divorced. And when that failed, I have not been in a relationship since. I've been on a couple of dinner dates here and there, but I haven't, really truly met anyone that I feel is worthy of me wanting to get to know them a little bit better. But let me tell you what I am emulating. My parents, my father, God rest his soul, and my mother, they had the most wonderful relationship to me, from what I can see. And I think that's what I'm looking for. I think that's why I'm, almost 50, and I still want my father and my man. My daddy was a disciplinarian. My daddy took care of the bills. I mean, he would take his check and give it to my mother, and my mother would probably give him $50 of the check, and that's how my mother bought his clothes for him. He wasn't really crazy about fashion, but he loved his little Kango, his hats. And that was his thing. He loved hats. He loved hats. He loved fishing. He loved hunting. We had a big old field of crops that he tended, and plus he worked at a factory. Then on top of that, he had my grandfather out with the pup trucks, pup wood trucks. So we didn't have to want for anything. I can tell you that. We weren't rich, but I tell you, we never had to want for anything. And my mother was a seamstress. She could sew clothes. And at that particular time, I was embarrassed because we never went. I wanted to go to the wall. I wanted to go to at that time, Magic Marts and places like that and Dillard's and stuff. I wanted to go to those type of places because, I didn't realize how original I could have been and how unique that would have been. But if we did go to, Dillard's or whatever, I mean, my mother was spoiled right. My daddy spoiled my mother. But my mother was a good woman. Was a good woman in that relationship. She's still here. She's still here. My dad is not. He's deceased. But I used to see them laughing with each other, playing with each each other. I remember they used to have date nights at home. They would slow dance, and my sister would be on my mother's feet holding onto her legs, and I'd be on my daddy's legs holding onto him while they're belly rubbing and kissing and talking to each other. And if they ever argued, I never saw it. They never displayed any disagreement in front of us. I'm pretty sure that, as I became an adult, I would have thought my daddy was the most perfect person in the world. Until my mother told me some of his discrepancies, which I was totally in shock. Not my daddy, but I realized that my daddy was a man just like nobody else. I mean, he made mistakes, and he was a man. But one thing about it, he wasn't going to let no woman come up in his house, disrespecting his house, messing up his household. And the one discrepancy that my mother did share with me was a woman who was, as she quoted, butt ugly. And honestly, probably did things to my father and my mother at that time, back in those times, would not heard of. You know, um, I'm just gonna be a little bit, I guess, taking a chance, being a little bit more explicit, like the things that younger women, us, like my grandmother, for instance, or whatever, probably never even heard of oral sex until our generation, or maybe she knew about it. I don't know, but I don't know. She never had it done. Never did it. And my mother, sure if she's ever experienced that, and I think she experienced that after my father. Um, she never really discussed that part of it, but my mother um, is the type of person that we can talk about everything about. Anything from politics to sex. We're just that type. We can talk like that. And I'm like that with my kids too. Although my kids says, "Oh, I don't want to hear that, mama," But I'm like, you learn. I mean, I'm trying to educate you. Why not learn it from me than get it from some fool off the street? I'm an older woman. I'm more wise. I've been there, so why not discuss this with me? But anyway, so going on with my mother and father, or whatever. I think what made them so great is I remember when my mother told me that when my father met her, she was in high school, and I think my nose is itching. I'm sorry. I don't know what the old people say that's for. I think they said somebody's talking about you. But anyway, my nose has been itching all day. And my mother was saying how my daddy used to chase her. And she's like, she was not interested in him. And I believe what made my daddy really go after my mother is because of the chase. Like, he chased my mother. And I think a lot of you young ladies, y'all don't let the man chase you. A man love to chase. That's just in their nature. And it's okay to be sweet and nice to your man, but don't be too sweet because then you're a boy. You're not challenging. A woman has to be challenging for the man to chase her. But then when my mother said when he finally did get her or whatever, he was like, he was tried his best, and my mother was a virgin at the time or whatever. And back then that was okay to be. That's what a man wants you to be. A man wanted you to be a virgin. He wants you to be a virtuous woman. And unfortunately, in this day and time, these young kids, these microwave kids, they don't understand how special it is to be a virtuous woman. But I can go on and on and on about that. But when my father finally got my mother, whatever, he was just so happy because she was the hardest thing for him to get. And he knew when he got my mother to marry him, he knew she was his queen. And from that day forward, he did everything in his power to make sure she felt love. He did everything to make sure that she felt a queen. And my mother treated my dad as a king as well, you know. And if I could be only so lucky to meet a Charles, my daddy, a man that he ain't even gotta be. If I could meet a man that has 3/4 of what my daddy offered my mother, I would be so off the market so quick. So if you guys do have a boo out there, a husband, a significant other, and your partner, you know, same-sex marriages doesn't exclude what makes it special. Because I'm pretty sure there's got to be some stories that I would love to hear. Like I said, my mother told me that, at that particular time, she said she tried to and I would have never knew this or what my mother said. She tried to take him out when she found out that he had cheated on her. But the love survived. My daddy, Make sure that he took care of his family. You know, I remember us having game night. My daddy was such a big, big, big on family time. You know, and that's what I want, guys. And if you got somebody that's cool like that, that's got your back, shout him out, shout her out. Let us know what makes you survive. You know, if there's anyone out here that's been married for 40 years, share it with us. Tell us how you guys survive while you are still together. I think we as younger people are so quick to divorce over the smallest things, you know. And then I think a lot of us marry for the same wrong reasons. You know, you gotta let God bring that person in your life, first of all. You know, you got to get to know that person, learn that person, be friends with them. I think friendship is so big. And you can be in love with somebody and not like them, and that's not good. You need to like your mate. You need to like him or her. Anyway, guys, so please think a little bit harder about how you want to do your video response. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm pretty sure that there are some stories out there that you guys can share. One more thing before I go. There's one of my subscribers who have alopecia like me. And that's another reason why I think I have kind of pulled back because of my hair. I didn't think, I was afraid that the man would not accept me because I got wigs and weaves. But I'm to the point now that is a part of me. You know, if you can't see what's all up in here, what's all around these curves, and not my hair, if you can accept it, then you're the one for me. Because if you're not, then you were never for me anyway. But there's some women out here who are that has um, alopecia or some type of medical condition who are allowing that to prevent them from sharing or from having love. Um, so if there's any other ladies out there that has alopecia or some type of medical condition and your man stood by your side or your man met you after the fact and he still loved you through it all, share that. Encourage everyone. Encourage the women out there. Encourage the men out there. This contest is not just for women. It's for men too. So, again, guys, I'm looking forward to you guys participating in this video. I really, really am participating. I know Miss Roz B is working on hers now. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. So, see you guys later. Bye bye.